Welcome back to our second tutorial. In our previous tutorial we looked at how we could create a Microsoft team. Now we're going to have a little look at some of the settings and some of the options that we can allow or choose to switch off. Everywhere in Microsoft Teams where you see three small dots or a burger button or an ellipsis, whatever you call the three small dots, will always equal more options. And you can see there's three small dots there. There are three small dots per channel, and equally down the bottom where we send the messages, again we have three small dots. So I'm going to click the main three dots, and these three dots belong to the whole team and control everything. Individually then you have the dots that apply to each individual channel, and that will allow you, as you create channels, to change the settings as required. But the settings for the whole team are in here. And it shows me the options that I have. Every time I see a cog, it suggests to me that these are settings. I have the ability to add channels, to add members, and to do a few other features that we will encounter as we progress. At the minute I just want to go into the manage the team. And this manage the team is to do with all the settings and all the member permissions that override everything else. So at the minute I haven't added anyone to my team, but I have this option to add individual members if I choose to. When I go across, I won't have any pending requests yet because it's a brand new team. And I've got this settings tab at this moment in time, and each of these toggles on and off to allow you to be able to control a significant amount of settings. And it is worth your while just taking a moment to go through some of these. Don't become too perplexed about them in the first instance, but to have a look through, because a couple of these we need to open up to get us started. Okay, so the first thing I can do is change the theme. If I want to change the theme, I can change this to some of the pre-loaded themes that Microsoft have kindly provided for us. So I'm going to opt for my English 101, and I'm going to put old Bill Shakespeare in, and that's going to become the icon. And you'll see when you go back out to your home page, it's nice to have a range of icons ready for us. He will appear there, and it's great for the students to be able to kind of use that for dual coding. In a later tutorial, when we start to look at different ways in which we can personalize, I'll show you how you can upload your own photo to that. So we've done our team theme. We're now going to look at member permissions, and a permission very simply is the access that you permit to either individual students or to the whole students. And remember, there are really two levels within a Microsoft team. You as the teacher are the owner, and students are members. So if you think that Microsoft Teams is used in a range of contexts outside of education, it's not as easy as just saying teacher and student, but you're the owner and the student is a member. So in each of these, I have the option to allow members to create and update channels. I don't really want that permission at the minute, and I would go with what Microsoft have largely toggled on for you at this moment in time. So you as the owner can delete all messages. You can give members the option to delete their own messages. So if they make a mistake or they post them to the wrong group, you've given them that option, and you can give members the option to edit their messages. You may choose, if you had a younger group, just to toggle those off, and that means that nobody would post up something silly or daft without you being able to see it, because they'd be able to delete it again. And if you do notice that students do use and post up a lot of messages, you might wish to remove that so that you're ultimately in control. But for the time being, we'll assume that all pupils enter into this with a great maturity. So again, you can have some guests, and guests will largely be people from outside your tenant, outside your district, or outside the administrative group that runs your Microsoft Teams. Again, I showed you in the last tutorial that doing an @ and typing in the word general, or @ a team, or @ a channel, or even @ and a user's name will always give a notification to that user that they have been tagged in a message. And to be tagged in a message is really to be given that extra alert that this message is important to them and that you want them to see it and you want them to read that. That can be quite a privileged position to do, because you're really maybe wanting to reserve that exclusively for you, but you get to make that choice for yourself. Now, one of the most important settings that we do need to do in this instance is to generate a code. And by generating a code, you take out all of the hassle for yourself, and you're able to allow the pupils who will quite intuitively know how to join a group to use the code to access your team. So if you're sitting with your class, brilliant, you can put that up onto the interactive whiteboard screen, or you can write it up on your own notice board, and the students can copy that code, all lowercase with 2 numerals, and when they go out to join a team, they simply join a team with that code, type it in, and press join, and hey presto, they're part of the group. If I need to, I can reset that and change the code, and it might be useful after a certain period of time to do that, or just to remove the code altogether, so that only once your class are on, no other participants can sneak onto your team when you're not paying attention or you're not expecting it. And once you've got your full complement, your full cohort on the team, and you're happy, then you could turn that off by removing the code altogether. And of course you can copy and paste it. You may need to send that out in an email and so on to your students. So I'm going to remove that for now, and it's gone back to generate, and I can go back in and do that as many times as I need. Down here, depending on your style and the purpose and the age group that you're teaching, you can choose to turn off all the fun elements like Giphies and stickers and memes, but I would just suggest that maybe start off with something strict and toggle that on. You really have to judge your own class and the own age group for those, and to be able to do that. Whether or not you allow pupils to customize the memes, but it can be, you're really, from my experience, you're wanting to encourage participation as much as possible. There is an element to which you have to culturally bring pupils with you, and in all of these things, they are getting a kind of a secondary background education in appropriate use of digital technology. And part of that is that. So you may have a couple of things just to set out your expectations at the very start, where the students of saying that, look, this is a privilege, I've set this up for you to be able to use so that we can enjoy communicating and engaging with each other, but here are my expectations, here's what I expect you not to do, and that is usually strong enough. So here there are settings for the class notebook. When we get to looking at the class notebook, we will do that, and again you can control who's allowed to tag and who's not. Okay. Over here we have some analytics, okay, and I'll show you that populated at a later stage, because it's starting to get a little bit advanced there. So those are the main settings. We've gone, just to recap, we've gone in through the 3 small dots, we've gone into manage our team, we've been able to control the members and been able to control the settings by looking at those and opening each of those up gives us the opportunity to fine-tune the permissions and the settings that we allow owners and members of the team, or teachers and students, to make.